This is the 40th year since Roe v. Wade, and I think that the theme is appropriate. Lord, have mercy. Now I want you to take note. I want every pro-abortioner that's sitting here. I want every pro-life advocate that's sitting here. I want friend and foe of our cause that are sitting here. I want you to think about this. If you are alive today, there is a 100% certainty that your parents were pro-life. Did you catch that? How is it then that you whose parents were pro-life, somewhere in your matriculation, want to deny the unborn that which your parents did not deny you before you were born? Now, the flaw in this country is the consequence of what I call making laws by the exception to the rule. When laws are made by the exception to the rule, that affects all. When laws are made and someone has a personal and private agenda, political, personal, or otherwise, and so to promote their agenda, they seek out one incident that would solicit sympathy from the masses, and they finally find that person, and because of that sympathy, they make laws to right the one occurrence that took place, just that one occurrence. What you have is a law to right a wrong of one individual that has a deleterious effect on all individuals in all of society. Let me give you an example of that, because a lady told me her story, and when she heard my opinion, whether she agreed with me or not, I think I made the point. For example, and this was the example that she used, one person many decades ago was pregnant, the young girl was, and in despair. She was in a restroom, the other lady was in the other restroom. She wanted to end her pregnancy with a coat hanger, which she did. It was done, and she bled to death in that restroom, and she died. Here was the solution. The solution was to ensure that no such tragedy ever occurs again, the one exception to the rule. And there's consequences for behavior. But the solution was to ensure that no such incident occur again, we will enact a law. We're going to enact a law to make it easy that no single woman will ever have to do this again, and she'll be able to, if she wants to, terminate the baby that she doesn't want. The one law for the one woman, for the one incident that took place. And there was such a law. That law was called Roe v. Wade. Now, there'll be no more deaths due to the single action of any one young woman who's in distress because of a bad decision. What should have occurred is that both she and the young man should have been willing to reap the just punishment for their actions without the death of another life. All of us have at some point had to reap the just punishment for an action of ours that we singularly done. And we should never compound a wrong with a greater wrong. So the result of that one incident, 50,000 plus deaths for any reason, even if it is simply another form of birth control, has occurred because of that one single incident. The result, the death of, not the 50,000, not that one single generation of the 50,000 individuals, but the 3 generations in the last 40 years. Not just the 50,000, but the millions of children and grandchildren that weren't added to the statistics that would have come out of the loins of those 50 million. 1/6 of the U.S. population is missing. They never got here. They've been aborted. 1/6 of this country with their purchasing power to purchase houses and automobiles, in which case we would probably not have an economic slump. The result of this one incident in that restroom a black community is in decline, with declining numbers based on our percentage of the total American population. Black America is on the decline. Our numbers are shrinking. We're no longer the largest minority, but the second largest minority, and we're shrinking. We have events throughout the years, and this is the third year that this great event has been taking place. And you've come into the African American community I'm talking about, Lord have mercy. And we come, and there are more whites coming into a black environment to help us than our own people. There's a problem there, and we thank those that do come, but we need to slap ourselves awake, which I'm going to address here, because the theme is Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy means somebody is mad, and Bishop Bradley is mad, and God became so angry at Ahab. He became so angry at two other persons in the Bible that I'm glad that whatever calmed him down, because he said, I am so angry, I'm going to destroy everything that pisseth on a wall. And thank God he stopped there. And our enemies seek to mute us, and in certain instances we are afraid to speak against what's politically correct. In most instances, that which is politically correct, remember, if it's politically correct, in most instances is wrong. If it's politically correct, in most instances it's harmful to society. And yes, Right to Life's theme after 40 years of this mess is Lord have mercy. The success of pro-life our community, the pro-choice rather, the success of pro-choice, the pro-abortion community, is that they've been successful in muting and embarrassing pro-life into talking about abortion, but keeping the pictures of abortion out of view. This is abortion. Wichita, Kansas, 1983, 6 pounds near full term, salt poisoned baby born alive. He was to be incinerated in a batch with cats and dogs. One doctor suggested that his collagen was removed while he was alive. If you look closer at the left wrist, you can see a hospital band, which most likely infers that it was born alive. Without the visual evidence, we're not able to adequately make our case. We've been embarrassed to have words without pictures, without bodies, the evidence, the body of the murdered babies. We can't prove that a crime has been committed because we're told don't show the pictures. We actually, when we do show the pictures, apologize for a few non-offensive pictures that we do display, which means we're fitting into the politically correct mode. These are not the methods used to drill into our heads and our children's head. These are not the methods used to drill into our heads and our children's heads when pro-abortionists want to make their case. When they want to make their case, they show pictures. But when it comes time for us to make our cases, hide the pictures. When they want to make their case, they show their evidence. They use pictures and videos. Consider the Humane Society. They make their case. They get their contributions, and they use pictures. They make their point, but they also use pictures. They draw emotional support because they use pictures. Pro-life really should rightfully be called humane. We're really the Humane Society, because within the word humane in society is the word human. But no, the Humane Society should be about The Humane Society should be about humans, because human is in the word. It should be about humans. It shouldn't be about animals. It's the Humane Society. It should be about humans. The society should be called the Animane Society. The society has been effective because of pictures, and it's, you know, it's oxymoronic, humane society and animals. And one picture is worth 1,000 words. Now, when you see this video, I want you to note the key words that they use that paints a picture as they're showing the pictures. Listen to the words with what they put with the word, "What will I eat?" Why do they keep beating me? The words animals, neglected, tortures, killed. The word unspeakable cruelty. The soft words, give love and care as they draw you in. To get solidarity, join the fight. Animal cruelty. I like this one because they are not ashamed to show the pictures. They are going to use this phrase. Listen to it at about 1 minute and 12 seconds in. If these images are disturbing, then please help. They don't tell you to look away or to apologize. They say, we're going to show it to you. We're going to put it in your face. And if they disturb you, help us. And then they say, please, don't wait.
Every day, thousands of animals throughout America are neglected, tortured, and often killed. But you can help stop this horrible abuse by supporting the Humane Society of the United States. With your generous donation, you can be a partner in our ongoing fight to end unspeakable cruelty, rescue these innocent animals, and give them the love and care they so desperately deserve. For just $19 a month, you can join the Humane Society of the United States in our fight to eliminate animal abuse everywhere. Call in the next 20 minutes to join our fight. We'll also send you this special jacket so everyone will know you're supporting the fight against animal cruelty. And we'll also send you a free subscription to our award-winning magazine, All Animals. No matter what you can afford, please call the number on your screen right now or visit us online to fight animal cruelty with your donation. If you love animals, if these images disturb you, then please help us end this senseless cruelty and abuse right now. Please don't wait. Your donation today could be the difference between life and death for these helpless creatures. No matter what you can afford, please call the number on your screen right now or visit us online to fight animal cruelty with your donation.
Call now, 1-800-419-7062 and get your free official HSUS jacket and magazine subscription. That's 1-800-419-7062 for your free jacket and magazine subscription.
Now, isn't that interesting? That these same individuals will recoil if we were to put together a same presentation showing a collage of aborted fetuses. And then how dare we not make the statement that these are disturbing or even to put them out there. Well, my brothers and sisters, because I'm upset, I'm putting them out there. I'm going to put them out there tonight. And while we think our children can be harmed by this, what your children know that you don't know will shock you. Did you note they are non-concerned about the potential offensive nature of their pictures? Did you hear the speaker say, if these pictures disturb you, but they still put them out there anyway? They show them anyway and then tell us to not show ours because of the offense offensive nature of our visuals. Well, we need to be as hard-hitting as they are because our cause is more just. I say no to this. I say no to this in the 40 years since Roe v. Wade. I say no to this because of the carnage that's taking place in this country, in our community, and even worldwide. And I want to use the visuals also. This is the picture that should be there when the question was asked, what will I eat? This baby didn't have a chance to eat anything. This is the 40th year of this horror, and I say no. Why do they keep probing me, trying to pull me out of the womb? Is what should be said as this picture of an aborted, fully developed fetus is taken out of the womb. That's why I say no, and that's why I'm angry. Why couldn't I be born? Why didn't I have a chance? I could have been, if I could have been born, I could have been 40 years old today. If I'd been allowed to be born and had gotten married and had a child at 20 years old, I would have had a 20-year-old son today. If my 20-year-old son had been here and had gotten married at 19, at 20, I would have grandchildren today. So why wasn't I allowed to be born? And why am I hidden under the cover? Yes, 40 years later, we should be crying out, Lord, have mercy. Why didn't I get out alive? Why didn't I have a chance to suck from a breast? I went on the website, worldmeters.info/abortion, worldwide since January, from January the 1st to February the 12th of this year, 4,995,698 abortions have taken place. The second month isn't over. Worldwide, 116,179, based on those numbers, abortions are taking place worldwide every day. Don't you think that it is? Lord have mercy. Don't you think that if all of these fetuses were heaped on a hill, that God and nation would be horrified? 4,841 abortions take place every hour. This is what happens to humanity that was formed in the womb. This is what humanity, this is what humans have gotten to in this day. 81 abortions take place every month. Oh, I don't have a problem. Someone walks into my office and say they're considering abortion. I hit a key and every one of these slides go by. And no one has been able to sit through every one of them. Someone said, why is the body black? That's that salted solution that's injected in the womb, which means the baby is being burned on the inside. The baby is kicking, wanting to survive, and can't survive because somebody has made that decision. Shouldn't you be mad? 3 abortions worldwide take place every 2 seconds. And since we have a prayer vigil at an abortion clinic over there on Dodge Park, then the truck pulls up with this little truck to take out all of the tissue and cart them away. This should be alarming because God is mad. And we're going to see that. Chemical abortion. A precious 4.5-month-old little girl burned by the saline solution used to abort her. 4,000 babies aborted each day in this country. 1 every 22nd. Abortion legal through the 9th month of pregnancy. We've been led to believe that having an abortion is removing a mass of tissue. Look at this little girl. Is she tissue? Ripped apart as they try to bring that baby out of the womb. Dissected. Torn apart. Dismembered. Tissue. A tumor. This is horror of horrors. This is insulting to humanity. And then they're going to put pictures on television and a commercial about dogs and cats. But we can't get ours on TV. 2.2 is the replacement rate. There must be 2.2 live births per every female born for a nation to maintain itself. The reason for the 0.2 is because there are some females that won't have children. So you got to put the 0.2 in there because there are some that just won't have children or can't have children. So for them to maintain themselves, it's not 2.0, but it's got to be 2.2. If America wants to maintain its numbers, there's got to be 2.2 births per live female. And if a population wants to maintain its population, there has to be 2.2 births. If an ethnicity, Negroid, Mongoloid, Australoid, or Caucasoid, if they want to maintain their ethnicity, there's got to be 2.2 births per female born. Caucasians, it ain't happening. You're slowly declining in numbers. Because yours is 1.9, you need 2.2. I'm not even going to tell you who's doing 2.2 and higher. But we African Americans, us who won't get involved in making a stand at an abortion clinic, hardly able to get them to come to a church to hear what is happening to us, our numbers are 0.8. With these declining numbers, you can actually predict the date of our extinction. And so as with Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord, who knows all things, so horrified about the message that's reaching heaven, he goes and he says to Abraham, because of the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, and I'm God who knows all things, I cannot believe this, I am going to go down. I've got to see this for myself. I've got to see the mounds of 100,000 babies per day heaped up on a high hill, aborted out of the womb. I must go down and see what humanity is doing and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry that have come up into heaven, which is too horrible for me to believe. And when I come down and see it, and if it's true, then I'll know. God said that. And so he came down to hear the screams. Lord, have mercy. They didn't even know that before the body is even formed in the womb, God's eyes are on it. Psalms 139:16. There's no substance, the psalmist says. There's no substance, and yet God says that's life. Job says, he builds me in the womb, and as he builds me like a fence, he clothes me with flesh, and he knits me together and sews me together the way he wants to with bone and sinew to make me human. And we don't see it that way. And then Jesus was a thing before he was a person. And the angel told Joseph, that thing that's forming in the womb of Mary, that holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. It was a thing before it was a person, and God said it was still a person. Here's the culprit. This hellish lady called Margaret Sanger. She formed what was called the American Birth Control League in the early 1920s. You heard what the Life of the People had to say about her. I won't go into that. This American Birth Control League is what became Planned Parenthood. She is the mother of Planned Parenthood. She's applauded in Congress. She's applauded in Washington. African leaders, Hillary Clinton and all, applaud this lady, this founder of Planned Parenthood with her surreptitious contrivance that we're going to take a look at momentarily. Because initially she she started something that was the purification of the American society. There will be the sterilization of the unfit. We will determine who the unfit are, and we will move to begin to sterilize them so that with the Hitlerian goal of the master race, we can have the purified society that would be without compassion. She also formed something that was called the Negro Project to deal with the reproductive practices of African Americans because our numbers were greater than 2.2. And that had to be halted. In 1939, a doctor by the name of Dr. Clarence Gamble was selected, working with her to become the regional director of the South. Dr. Gamble of the soap manufacturing Procter & Gamble company was no newcomer to Sanger's organization. He had previously served as director at large to the ABCL. Gamble lost no time and drew up a memorandum in November '39 entitled Suggestions for Your Negro Project, Margaret Sanger, acknowledging that black leaders might regard birth control as an extermination plot. He suggested that black leaders be placed in position where it would appear that they were the ones that were actually in charge. And they would not be decrying abortion because it's their idea. It's evident from the rest of the memo that Gamble conceived the project almost as we'll go down south. It'll be a traveling road show. We'll get a charismatic black minister who will start the revival, and then contributions would come from other local cooperating black ministers, and we'll get a colored nurse would follow, supported by a subsidized colored doctor. Gamble even suggested that music be a useful lure to bring the prospects to the meeting. Sanger agreed. She agreed December the 10th, 1939, and these are her words, not mine, this founder of Planned Parenthood. We do not want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the black minister is the man who can straighten that idea out if it ever got to Pastor Bradley. If it ever occurred to any of their more rebellious members, such as ourselves. So the resulting timeline was there was Margaret Sanger, there was the ABCL, from that came the Negro Project, from that came Planned Parenthood, from that came 2.2 in the African American community, down to 0.8, the largest minority during the civil rights movement of the last decade, and can hardly hold on to the second minority today. We have declining populations and we're slowly moving to extinction. You can predict the date that we will no longer exist in the United States if this trend continues. I don't know how you've taken this. This is 40 years. Lord have mercy. I get up early in the morning and I go out to an abortion clinic and with the church, and I'll continue to do this. And I'm horrified at what I see. The only thing that I've come to do is to present the truth to you. All I've come to do is to present the pictures to you. All I've come to do is for you to do some introspection, to reevaluate and think and make a decision as to what your view is on it. And to talk to your sons and your daughters and make a decision that as African Americans, I'm saying that we shouldn't deny the reality of the fact that there are white people that come out every Black History Month to our churches to jar us awake when we should be jarring ourselves awake. And we've got to look reflectively at the mirror and see what the issue is and what the problem really is. And then now we can work together to end what's going on that is impacting all of humanity, which is a dredge on society and tearing us down. And the Bible cries out ultimately and finally in John chapter 8, verse number 32, you shall know the truth which you've heard, and what you do when you walk out of here will determine whether this truth that you heard will finally break you free of your shackles and set you free. Thank you.